Welcome to MHStv. I'm Maxwell and this is your news for Friday, December 10th, 2021. With an uptick of COVID cases throughout the state the past couple of weeks, Governor Holcomb extended the health emergency. Since Holcomb reinstated the emergency, SCM did not lift the mask policy at MHS. Additionally, SCM has seen increases in positive cases and quarantines for 4 consecutive weeks. Please make sure to wear masks here at school to help stop the spread. Many students find themselves struggling to manage mental health and their school responsibilities. Ms. Conan's and IUSB social work intern Blake Ward shares some of their tips to balance these aspects.
That is a really good question, and I think it's a question that a lot of students are having right now. Balance is really, really hard because you're juggling so many things in high school. Coursework, obviously, friendships, family, jobs, sports, any other kind of activities that you do. The big thing is to make sure that if there's things that aren't bringing you joy and satisfaction, that you maybe take them off your plate so you have less to juggle. And even if it's just for a little while, so you may have to stop your club for a few weeks and then be able to get back into the routine of doing your homework and making sure that you have that all completed before adding that club back in. So even adults, those teachers, we all have those struggles. So you just have to take it kind of one step at a time and really find out what's the most important and what's the most timely, and then really focus on those things and then get back into those other things that you want to add on later.
Being a student, I very much have anxiety, and whenever my to-do list is incredibly large, it can be paralyzing to, feel like there's so much to do.
There are so many pressures being a teacher and as a student, and trying to balance those does often get in the way with one another. I think the thing I would say is to talk to your teacher, email your teacher, ask questions, and just be honest. The one thing I think teachers really look for is if you're putting in your full effort and still are struggling because of some other things that maybe they don't even know about, if you can really explain to them what's happening and try to communicate a happy medium, that would be the best, but go to the teacher first.
And that paralyzation leads to procrastination, and so I will wait until the last minute to get things done because I have no more time, and that's not healthy, and I realize that, and so now I just kind of chip away at that mountain of to-do lists that I have.
There's 2 big things that I talk about with students. One is, what do you have control over? Like the amount of homework you get, your work schedule, those kind of things you may not have control over. So really focus on the things that you do. The other thing is that anxiety becomes so overwhelming when we look at the huge big picture. And it gets like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Or there's so many unknowns that it kind of stifles you. So you may have 5 assignments that have to be done, but when you get 1 done, take a moment to be proud of that accomplishment, that you put things to the side so you could focus on your work. And that will give you that little bit of motivation, hopefully, to then do the next step, next good thing.
So knowing yourself and what works for you is really important too. So having time for reflection as well, to figure out what works for you, because it's not going to be, some people may not be paralyzed when they're faced with a ton of things to do, but that's how I've dealt with it. That's what I've learned about myself, and just chipping away and being proud of myself along the way is really important.
Last Thursday, MHS students and families hopped aboard the Polar Express for a magical and musical movie night hosted by the MHS Student Council. All proceeds from the event went to the MHS Food Drive. The event is one of many this December and January hosted by the Student Council. Be sure to listen to announcements for upcoming events. Speaking of the food drive, next Saturday, December 18th, marks the annual food drive event here at MHS. The event is taking place from 7 to 11 a.m. The food drive is being hosted by the Student Council here at MHS. Come out to help families in need by participating for a few hours. On Tuesday, December 7th, the MHS Orchestra held their holiday concert in the auditorium. Bands will hold their concert next Tuesday in the auditorium as well. This will be the first band concert of the year and will be live streamed on the Mishawaka Network YouTube page. Coming up in just over a week is the annual Vespers concert. Both choir and orchestra students have been hard at work preparing for this historic tradition. Vespers will be on Sunday, December 19th with 2 showings at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. There will also be a live stream of the 2 p.m. showing. Speaking of choir, this week's senior spotlight is Aaron Heklinski. Aaron has been doing theater and choir since he was a freshman.
I've been involved in the theater program for all 4 years of my career at Mishawaka. I've been involved in the choir program, show choir and chamber choir for all 4 years. My freshman year, I was in swimming, and then I just continued my singing and acting career from then. I want to say my favorite show that I ever did was probably Clue back in the fall of my sophomore year. And my favorite choir concert was probably last year's spring concert, because it was our first one since the COVID-19 pandemic. I really enjoy the community that it can bring together. It brings a lot of people from the outside community into Mishawaka High School. It brings the students together, and it's slowly becoming a more welcoming place for those who don't feel as welcome. I plan to go to college, and I don't know what I'm going to study yet. It's still in the works of deciding that out. I want to go to college and in some way help raise up the next generation in knowing either how to love music, how to be a good person, etc. Do your homework, because that was a big thing. It's easy to procrastinate it and put it off, but in the end, if you get your classes done and your homework done, you'll have a senior year where you can take as many electives as you'd like, and you'll have just a really fun year to kind of end out your years at MHS.
That is all your school news for today. We will be back with sports after this short break.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fun Fact Friday with me and Caleb.
And our first fun fact is the first college football game was played on November 6, 1869 between Rutgers and Princeton.
Jingle Bells was the first song to be played in the space.
And that is all for Fun Fact Friday. Come back next week for another fun fact.
Jingle Bells, jingle.
Do you want to know how school events are live streamed? Do you want to be on the sidelines and catch the action on the ground? Or working the TriCast or putting up graphics on the video board? The Mishawaka Network is the place for you. The Mishawaka Network is responsible for live streaming events like musical performances, sports events, performing arts, school board meetings, and more.
Teacher pay.
The Mishawaka Network is also a place you can learn if you have any dream of pursuing broadcasting and camera work. It can also give you experience for career after high school. Come down to room 033 in the basement at the end of the Industrial Tech Hall, or contact Mr. Rendell or me, Jack Osborne, by email.
Last Friday, December 3rd, the Cayman boys basketball team took on Culver's Academy for their season opening. The Cayman started off good, however, Culver's pulled away and got the win 38-37. Tuesday, the boys faced off against Marion, losing 63-36. Tomorrow, they face off against Elkhart Christian Academy at home. Good luck to the Cayman boys. Last Friday, December 3rd, the Cayman girls basketball team faced off against Culver's Academy in the Cave. The girls would rise to a 61-32 victory after a slow start and improve the record to 3-3. Sophomores Kesha Davidovic and Asia Schaefer led the girls team with a combined 23 points. Tuesday, the girls played against Bremen. They played hard and took the lead in the third quarter, but ended up losing 50-46. Tonight, the team plays Northwood at home. Good luck to the Cayman girls. On Saturday, December 4th, the Cayman wrestling team went up against Plymouth. The Cavemen were undefeated, winning a score of 4-1. The Mishawaka Athletic Hall of Fame are taking nominees till December 12th. The committees are looking for former students who made an impact on the high school, college, or professional athletics. As they must pass the 9th anniversary of their commencement graduating class, people who graduated in 2012 and before are accepted. This year, Mishawaka has started a fishing club. Even in their first year, they had found a lot of success.
I started fishing when I could probably walk. Lived at a lake for multiple years, just grew up around the water.
I'd say I started fishing when I was like 3 years old with my dad, and then as I grew older, I started seeing people on TV doing it competitively, and I was like, I want to do that. In our tournaments, there's roughly like 35 boats that we're competing against, and it's a two-person team. and you're competing to get your 5 biggest largemouth or smallmouth bass, and whoever has the most weight takes home the first place prize.
The best part about it is obviously having someone to relate to, but it's definitely going out before dark, waking up sometimes 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, and just taking that 2.5, 3-hour drive to a lake, and then knowing when your boat number's called that you just have the butterflies in your stomach.
Before a tournament, we're looking at lake maps, like trying to figure out where we're gonna start off and kind of narrow down the water that we're gonna fish. And we're always talking back and forth at the front of the boat, trying to figure out where we're gonna go next, what we're gonna try next, what we can do different, we slow down, speed up.
It does feel good to know that I started something and started a legacy here that I possibly could continue and remember for the rest of my life. It's a big dream, and if you have the determination, all you have to do is put time into it. The knowledge will come eventually, and you just have to learn.
That's all your sports for today. Now for a look at some local news.
It was recently announced that Notre Dame's former head coach Brian Kelly has signed a deal with LSU and is leaving Notre Dame after 11 years. Notre Dame has named Marcus Freeman as their new head coach, who is the youngest coach in Notre Dame history at 35 years old. Notre Dame will play their last game of the season versus Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl, which will occur on January 1st, 2022 in Glendale, Arizona. Go Irish! There's a project currently in the works to support our veterans. The project is known as Mishawaka Troop Town, the goal being to build 7 tiny homes and other services to help homeless vets lead healthier and better lives. This project has already raised $170,000 out of the expected total cost of $500,000. Plans for the project are expected to keep garnering support so the project can break ground by late spring. The Holiday Light Show Dashers Drive-Thru presented by the St. Joe County 4-H Fair is returning again this year. The show allows families to drive through the fair and look at fabulous light displays. The show was first presented last year with COVID guidelines in place. Now over to Jose with a look at this week's weather.
Things are looking rather dreary for the next 2 weeks in Mishawaka. Chances of rain looking high for Friday with a high of 47 and a low of 32. On Saturday, chances of rain and snow looking pretty promising with a high of 59 and a low of 31. Clear skies are expected on Sunday with a high of 43 and a low of 29. Monday is expected to be partly cloudy with a high of 49 and a low of 32. Tuesday to Thursday all have chances of rain with highs of 52 on Tuesday, 58 on Wednesday, and 52 again on Thursday. The lows are 36 for Tuesday, 46 for Wednesday, and 42 on Thursday. That's all for your weather this week.
That's all your news for this week. Shout out to Will Shalio and All-State lineman Dawson Nowacki. Have a good weekend, Caveman.